It's a lot of things that I learned that I did not know at the start. It's like, for instance, an LLC. Everybody assumes that, hey, I need to get an LLC to start my business. I'm gonna be the one to say that that's incorrect. While every business should have an LLC, you don't have to start with an LLC. There are other, ways you can start. You can start as a sole proprietor depending on your business. So for me, because my business is lingerie and loungewear, I can do sole proprietor.
That is the connecting piece. But for
Welcome to another episode of the Besties Building Brands podcast. We have myself, Alter Ego, your host, and today we have a special guest. Her name is Danisha, but she prefers to go by Renay. I'll confirm that with her when I bring her on. She's the owner of Forever Yane. It's a luxury lingerie company, and it's been around since April of 2021. So she's a special guest. I met her through Facebook. We're in this dope group chat for just, girl bosses. So I want to bring her on so we can hear about her business, get some inspiration to help you guys grow your business, and just to support her business. Let's bring her on. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hi, how
Did I
are you?
Good? Did I pronounce that right? I meant to ask you before we got started. It's Renay, right?
Yes, my name is Renay.
Okay. All right. And so I did tell them what your business is, but I do want you to introduce yourself, your business, and tell us why you got started.
Of course. So, again, my name is Renee, and I am the owner of Forever Yane. It is a luxury lingerie and loungewear brand. And the whole purpose of my brand is to just help women tap back into like their inner beauty, their inner confidence, through luxury pieces. And what better way to like really promote self care, and self love than lingerie? Because a lot of people are intimidated by wearing it.
Okay. And so I see on your bio that you have a master's degree in management leadership with small business knowledge. So I'm sure that's qualified you to do an array of different things. But when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, what was your career goal?
Good question. So for me, I used to be a lot of different things. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I started off wanting to be a teacher because everyone used to be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so bossy," like all the time. And I don't
Hmm.
know if that was just like the Aries in me, just feeling like I'm the leader per se.
Right.
So I had always wanted to work with children in some aspect and be a teacher or something related to working with children. So my like education and career path has been like a roller coaster ride. I started off by going to school for medical assistance to be a pediatric nurse. And I'm like, hey, I don't want to do that. So I went and got my bachelor's in human service to become a social worker. But I'm like, hey, I don't want to do that either. So it was like I just kept going to school for different things until I'm like, no, I want to be my own boss. And that's what I did.
Hmm. Okay. And does entrepreneurship run in your family? Do you have any siblings or cousins or aunties that have their own businesses also?
Nope. I have a cousin who's trying to start her own business, but as far as like established entrepreneurship or anyone with their own businesses, no, I'll be first.
Okay. So do you have like an inspiration or somebody that you look to for guidance in this entrepreneurship field?
Nah.
No.
So for as far as like motivation, my grandmother has always been like at the forefront of everything that I do. She recently passed away in May, so that's still
Oh.
what like lights the fuel to my fire. Like I make sure that everything I do, I'm doing it for her to make her happy, to make her proud. Because I always told her, when I make it, I'm gonna buy you that Jag that you wanted. I'll buy you that house that you wanted. So I'm just gonna always keep that in the back of my mind to help me push forward and go through.
Yeah, well, my dad, he passed away. It's been years now from cancer. I was in school for engineering, and I never finished, but I always think about that. Like, he was so proud of me. He was so happy to see me doing that. And I wanted to buy him real estate and property. So on my bucket
Oh,
list is I have to make sure that I get into real estate in some way, shape, or form. So that's totally like I get that being a driving force to keep you motivated.
mhm.
So in the lingerie business, was there anything that you didn't expect, like something that surprised you when you started your business in lingerie?
Honestly, something that like semi surprised me, I'm gonna say like just not realizing how many women weren't comfortable with their bodies. Like that's been the biggest surprise. And then just seeing how many people actually don't buy lingerie like that. Like, I mean, of course people buy intimates like bras, panties, that's a given. But outside of that, just seeing like women really don't appreciate themselves and their bodies enough, and they really don't treat themselves, or they're really intimidated to walk into a store and buy these type of things.
Yeah. That's true. I think for a lot of women, right now you have the explosion of the BBLs and, you know,
Yeah.
just everywhere on social media is kind of almost being crammed down your throat. Like you have to be this way. You have to be,
Hmm.
have the small waist and the big boobs and the big butt. So it's kind of intimidating, I would say, especially for mothers. You start having babies, you got the little fupa going on. Like you're really not trying to do that. But I think that that's really dope that you're doing that, and you can actually create like a whole movement around it, body
Hmm.
positivity, because
Hmm.
like you said, women aren't doing that. Plus they don't take the time out for themselves to treat themselves. So
Absolutely.
besides the lingerie, do you have any like other accessories or anything going along with it? Do you have anything else coming down the pike to go along with what you have in your business now?
So right now it's just lingerie and like loungewear slash sleepwear. I do want to like factor in other things. So I mean, not to like shine like anybody else's business, but I was recently on Victoria's Secret's website, and I've never been on their website. Every time I've ever shopped with them, I perfect like physically walk into the store. So I was on their website, and I'm just like, they have a lot of stuff from handbags to candles to so much stuff, and I'm just like, okay, at first I was thinking like what really goes with lingerie outside of like, loungewear and stuff like that. But then after seeing their website, it really inspired me to really move forward with adding other things that I want to add to my brand. I did want to have like just maybe one or two candles to go with the whole experience. So like, you get your lingerie. Let's just say you want to have a self-care day. You have your lingerie box with your lingerie piece, maybe a nice candle, and maybe even like a little small bottle of champagne in there, or if it's a date night, add some chocolate covered strawberries or something like that.
Hmm.
So I definitely want to have a whole experience around my brand. I don't want to be like any other brand because they obviously are doing them. I want to be able to really blow up my brand for what I'm able to bring for the experience for others.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about just your journey through entrepreneurship. I know you went through the different programs in school and then you said, hey, I want to work for myself. But starting a business, a lot of times you'll see on social media, all you need to do is get your LLC and do this and do that. And we know that it's not that easy. What are some steps that you missed that you can shed some light on for some other entrepreneurs who are just starting to make sure they hit, like something that you wish you would have known when you first started?
I'm going to say that. So I started my entrepreneurship journey 3 years ago. And when I originally started, I started with like a women's clothing line. Like I'm like, hey, I'm about to sell sunglasses and clothes. That's where I started. That business was short lived for about 6 months. And the following year, I had published a children's book. So I had started a brand surrounded around that. That business was also semi short lived, but it was only short lived because shortly after I received the publication for my book, COVID hit. So when COVID hit, because my book was dedicated to a specific type of children,
Hmm.
um, hospitals, schools, and nonprofits, they all were closing for COVID. So I had to kind of put a hold to that business. And lingerie has always been something that I've wanted to do since I was like 18, 19 years old. So it kind of like the idea resurfaced the ending of last year. The idea kind of resurfaced, and I'm like, the idea is there. Let's just go full throttle with it. And so through my journey of entrepreneurship, like starting a business, it being there for 6 months, having to stop one because of COVID and start a third one, um, it's a lot of things that I learned that I did not know at the start. It's like, for instance, an LLC. Everybody assumes that, hey, I need to get an LLC to start my business. I'm gonna be the one to say that that's incorrect. While every business should have an LLC, you don't have to start with an LLC. There are other, ways you can start. You can start as a sole proprietor depending on your business. So for me, because my business is lingerie and loungewear, I can do sole proprietorship because I don't have products that are, going to cause any type of liability. Like I'm not selling hair, cosmetics, skincare, things that can potentially get me sued right off the back. So I'm able to start like that. So I wish I would have known that because the first year when I first started, I was getting ready to like be negative $800 for an LLC. I do live in California. Um, Something else that I wish I would have known that I know now is that you can't really listen to what everyone else says. Like what you feel you need to do or you want to do for your brand, it's just that. If you want to get opinions about, other stuff from other people, like, hey, what you think about this or what you think about that, that's fine. But don't just throw your idea away because somebody said that they don't like it. Because one person's I don't like it could be 10 people's, oh, I love it. So just really going through the process of making sure everything is legit, making sure you research your product, what you want to do. Don't just sell stuff for a dollar. Sell it because you really have a passion for what it is that you're selling, you know?
Yeah, I just was talking about that the other day on the show that I didn't start the podcast to make money. It's really a
Hmm.
passion. But when you talk to people, they will tell you, oh, you need to charge this or you need to do that. And it's kind of like, well, if you really understood my mission and my vision, then you wouldn't say that. But it's your vision, it's your mission. So really,
Hmm.
it's only up to you to understand it. From a
Absolutely.
business owner standpoint, do you have any like productivity hacks? Like, what do you use, to keep your business afloat? Like, what does a typical day look like for you?
So, some of the things that I use on a daily are Canva and Planoly. Those are two apps that I use. So for Canva, that's where I like do all of my content through. Unless it's video content, I don't use that. But if it's just like images or quotes, I'm always using Canva to design flyers, Instagram posts, Facebook posts, etc. So that's something that I'm literally on every day. And then for Planoly, because I do still work a 9 to 5, I don't have time to every day think about what content I'm going to post. So what I do is like on Sundays, I'll sit down and I'll plan out my content for the week. I'll schedule the posts and planily post those posts at the time that I pick. So if I say, hey, I want to post at 11 o'clock a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m., I'll just schedule it with the captions and the hashtags, and Planoly will literally post everything. So it just makes my life easier being an entrepreneur as well as still an employee.
Okay. And how do you like how does your circle look? Do you have a supportive circle, family and friends? They buy from you. They're sharing your business.
Not so much. So for me, that's one of like my struggles, I would say. Like one of the struggles for me is that I don't really have that support system that I have seen other, women have in their entrepreneurship journey. Now, while I do have maybe a handful, and when I say a handful, I literally mean about five or less family members and friends that actually do support, like they have shopped with me and paid the exact amount, not asking for a discount, while they have shared my business, it's very, very far few. So sometimes that is like that's where I'll get a little discouraged, but then I always keep my grandmother in the back of my mind, and that's what pushes me through that discouragement.
And has that taught you any lessons? I know for me, um, I guess because like I just think differently. So my whole goal and the mission of Besties in and of itself is just about group work, group economics, collective work. Like if we all work together, whether you have a business or not, the more you serve, the more you'll, receive. And I learned that a lot of people don't think like that. To me, that was common sense. Like, okay, hey, you have a business, I have a business. Let's work together and we can both grow. But people don't
Right.
think like that. That was the biggest lesson that I've learned. Have you learned any lessons from that? Realize it, or did you go in with the thought like, hey, they probably won't support me? let me find my target audience. The things you learn later on, or did you already, know like, hey, I'm not even going to worry about if they support me or
To be honest with you, I went in with the mentality that they were going to support me. I thought, like, I'm the first one in my family or even my friends that's starting a business, that's doing something that's different. I'm not just, subjecting myself to just working for someone for the rest of my life. And I just assumed, like, I'm going to get the support, especially because some of the people I thought were going to support me are the ones that helped me pick products for my business, for both my current business as well as my women's clothing boutique that I used to have. They helped pick these pieces, so I'm like, oh, for sure they're gonna support because they helped pick the pieces, so obviously they like them. And that was short lived. I realized that they didn't. Even up until like a couple of months ago, I was thinking like, getting upset, like, or feeling some type of way, like, where's the support? Why don't you repost my stuff? And I'm not saying make your Instagram page or your social media platform all about me, but every blue moon, it costs $0 to repost something. Like if you've seen that I just posted a cute little TikTok um dedicated to my lingerie, what's so hard about just reposting it on your story or something like that? Every blue moon. And I noticed I didn't get that. Like I don't want to speak about it too much, but I have a specific friend that has a business and she's had a business for years now. Since I've met her, she's been in business. I always promote her stuff, always like, hey, go get X, Y, and Z with her. And she has yet to repost my business, not once, not any of my businesses in my 3 years of being on entrepreneurs. So I just had to start telling myself that, it's a lot of strangers out there in the world. Whether a family member supports me or not, or a friend supports me or not, that's not going to stop my business. That's not going to stop my journey. That's not going to stop my grind because I'm going to make it with or without their support. And the lack of their support is what's going to push me to do what I need to do to make sure that I make it.
not. Absolutely. I just posted today. You gotta show love even when they don't, or you'll become like them. Because it's hard for me. I mean, it's so innate for me to just do it. Like I just posted. You posted the lingerie thing, and I shared it. Like it's not even a second thought. Like I'll just,
Right.
as I'm scrolling, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Um, it's just weird to me. Like I said, I realize that a lot of people don't think like that. And a lot of people want to jump on the movement once it's moving.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of people that'll probably jump on the back. And once you're as big as Victoria's Secret or bigger,
Right.
you know what I mean? And it's weird. Also, what's weird to me too is celebrities who don't have anything to do with a niche. Like they'll come out with something that's not related to what they do. You're a singer, but now you sell weave, and you didn't even wear weave, but they will sell out. So that's weird to
Yep.
me. I think it's just human nature to want to be a part of something. Um, so you just have to prove the naysayers wrong, and sometimes it's not even intentional. You know what I mean? Like you will see
Yeah.
your friend buy something from Rihanna's lingerie line, and you're like, well, you know what I mean? But it's okay.
So
Trust me.
but speaking about that, I crazy thing is now that you said that I had like an incident a couple of months ago where it was two people who they knew I had a lingerie business because obviously it was after April and they had been saying, "Oh, I'm gonna shop with you, I'm gonna shop with you." I'm like, "Okay, whenever you're ready, I'm here." But then like randomly on different occasions they sent me pieces that they bought. One had bought something from Savage and one had bought something from Fashion Nova, both lingerie pieces. And I'm like, okay, I wonder why they shopped with them. So I went to go look on my website, like, hold on, I think I have something similar to this. I had a similar piece to both pieces that they purchased within the same price range, yet they still chose to purchase it with the big brands. And that just went to go show me, like, I don't want to say that it was intentional that they did it, but it's like it was intentional when you chose to send me a screenshot that you shopped with them, knowing that I have a brand myself. So it was just kind of weird to me.
I want to say this, and I try not to do this every show, but it's I feel some type of way about it. I think
Hmm.
in our community, I think it's just ingrained in us to be that way. So Eddie Murphy, he was talking and he was saying that somebody asked him, "How come you don't see a lot of the black comedy greats working together in movies? You may see one or two, but not many unless it's a black film." And it's because we have the tendency to, once you get something, like you run in a corner and you like hot, like you don't want to share the wealth. So I feel like it's the same way on the flip side. that people, they don't want to support you for that reason. They don't want to see you succeed. And I don't know if it's intentional. Like I said, I don't think they're really sitting there like, oh no, we don't want her to make any money. But you will hear them say things like, as a hairdresser, I've heard people say like, these prices, you want us to pay your bills. Well, why not?
Mhm.
You're paying, Fenty or Savage Fenty, you're paying their bills. It's a mentality thing in our community, the Black community. We are just that way, and it's so weird. But that's why, part of why I have this platform, because I want to keep talking about it. I want to keep showing, hey, we have entrepreneurs out here who have the same business that Rihanna has, or not even Rihanna, Gucci. We have designer bags from Black owned companies, and you won't support.
Right.
So I think
That
it's important
absolutely.
to continue to have the conversations. That's crazy that you would send a screenshot. Like that may be a little bit devious behavior there. Like, why would you send me the screenshot and you know that I have the business? But
Exactly. Exactly. But
and I'm a
y-
Scorpio, so I want revenge. Like I have mental notes of people that when I get here, you can't call me. And it's horrible, but I have to get revenge. I'm sorry.
I'm with
Um,
you. I am with you on that. I am with you.
Yeah, like if you don't support me now, don't support me when my movement is moving. Um,
Absolutely.
so I do have some questions. We usually do, sometimes we do like a this or that game in the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, but I want to ask you this or that. You just say what the answer is, right off the top of your head. All
Okay.
right. So Netflix or Hulu,
Netflix,
iPhone or Android,
iPhone.
coffee or tea.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with coffee because that's my first thing that I want, but I drink tea now.
Okay. Day or night,
Day,
cat or dog.
dog.
And I usually ask this question in the beginning because if you say the wrong answer, then I gotta cancel the show. So it's it's either Fresh Prince or Martin.
Why you want to ask that?
It's a good
Um.
question.
Ooh, but I love them both.
You gotta pick one.
I'm gonna go with Martin.
Okay, good. See, I knew he was here. I
Okay,
have to.
I watch that one way more now. I used to watch Fresh Prince.
Yeah, I think I watch way more Martin reruns than I do a
Mhm.
Fresh Prince.
I've never
Um,
watched the Fresh Prince rerun. That's crazy. I haven't watched it in years.
I don't watch him, but I will watch Martin.
All
And
day.
the Fresh Prince is funny though. Like if I happen to see it, like if I wake up and it's on, it's kind of funny. You forget how funny it is,
Exactly.
but I don't know. Um, and so if you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would it be?
Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your biggest pet peeve?
Mm, I have so many of them. Um,
It's
I'm gonna
had
have to
so
just
many.
go. I do. I have so many for like different things. The biggest one I'm gonna have to say inconsistency. I just hate
Mhm.
inconsistency.
Okay. If you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on?
Ooh, 10 million. So first I would pay off my car.
Mhm.
Buy me some type of buy a house. Definitely buy a house. And try to give back. Like I've always wanted to help someone else like succeed, like a young girl, let me say like a teen girl, to really do what they dreamed of, whether it's going to college, starting a business. So I would want to find like one or two young girls or a young girl and a young boy that I can help. But more, and that would be like paying my tithes, giving back to them, but definitely paying off my car and buying a house.
Okay. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Fettuccine chicken Alfredo.
Oh my God, I hate Alfredo.
No, it's
I
so
don't know what it
good.
is. I don't like white sauces. It's just
Oh
something, I
my
think it's
gosh,
like
you
a
sound like my
mental thing, the
fiance.
white sauce. I don't
He
know.
hates white sauces. I'm like, no, give me my Alfredo. I'll eat spaghetti too, but I prefer Alfredo over spaghetti.
Okay. And so the last question is, if you had a billboard about your life, what would it say?
Oh, what would they? I'm the girl who does it all. We're just gonna go with that.
Okay. Oh, I do want to ask you, do you have any plans on leaving your job and being a full-time entrepreneur, or do you plan on just riding the wave until you can't anymore?
To be honest with you, so in 2019, December of 2019 was my last day working for an employer. I left working corporate America to pursue entrepreneurship, not knowing that COVID was going to hit literally months later. So from last year all the way up until last month, I had not worked for anybody. But obviously, bills need to be paid, and I was running short on savings. So I took a temporary job. So the job that I'm working right now is temporary. It's only until about November or December. So I'm hoping that I can grow my business in these next couple of months while I'm working for someone so that I don't have to go look for another job in like after the holidays.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, tell us where they can find you online and your website information.
Of course. So you can find me on Facebook, and my Facebook page is Forever Yane, and Yane is spelled Yane. You can find me on Instagram, same thing, Forever Yane. And lastly, not my Instagram, I'm sorry, my website is www.foreveryane.com. And that's just forever spelled regular, and then Yane, Yane.com.
All right. And thank you for agreeing to be a guest on our show.
Thank
For those
you.
listening, make sure you check us out at bestiesbusiness.org. Sign up for the Pledge to Buy Black. Sign up for our social network. You can catch all of our shows at bestiesmedia.com. Thanks for listening.